How are we doing, guys? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel with another video for you guys here today. And the Dallas Cowboys got trounced on national television by the Detroit Lions 47-9. And it had to be one of the most disgusting, terrible performances I've seen from this team in my lifetime. And if you even look at the stats, and I believe they mentioned this on the broadcast or on Twitter or both, this was the worst home loss by the Dallas Cowboys in their entire tenure under Jerry Jones. On his birthday, no less, which I think is absolutely hilarious, but I'm not here to talk about just the game. I am here to tell you I'm officially off the Mike McCarthy train. I've been teetering off for the past couple of weeks now, but now that there's enough data to see how this team is performing, I'm sorry, man, he's got to go. And I understand that there is a part of the Cowboys fan base that will tell me, well, Space, there's no one else that you can go with that would be better. We had an understanding coming into this year that it was going to be a transition year for the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to evaluate the coaches. They're going to evaluate the roster. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a waste of time, because if you felt like Mike McCarthy wasn't worth keeping around, you should have fired him at the end of last year. And forget the Ravens game where you tried to come back from a ridiculous deficit. This team, in the last 4 home games this calendar year, has been outscored 110 to 30 something at halftime. Like, you cannot win games like that. And the fact that this has not just happened one time, but 4 times now, is just unbelievable. This is a fireable offense. You were supposed to bring in Mike Zimmer to hopefully make changes so that you can handle Kyle Shanahan style offenses or modern NFL concept offenses that we've seen. A lot of motion, utilizing run games in certain ways and all that other stuff. They look ridiculously bad, like 2020 levels of bad. They even talked about how in this 4-game stretch, with the Cowboys being outscored the way they have at halftime, it's the worst they've seen in the National Football League since, I think, the 1972 Houston Oilers. Like, I cannot believe we are at this point. And all these fans that are still trying to get you to buy into this goddamn team, whatever. I'm sorry, but everything about this team is flawed. The thing that's bothering me is that it's from the top down. We know this. Jerry Jones in the front office is refusing to make changes, and as a result, it's affecting the entire team. You can see the players have checked out. This game reminded me so much of the 2019 Jets game, where it looked like the team, while it did fight in that game, granted, it looked like they just checked out fundamentally with Jason Garrett, and now here we are with Mike McCarthy, and the same thing's going on. The other part of it, too, is that you are hoping, they are at least, the Cowboys, okay, if our quarterback can bail us out, we'll be fine. That's not how you win football games. And this isn't me trying to white knight for Dak Prescott. It's the fact of the matter being that you are expecting him to pull you guys out of a hole that you dug, and he has no shovel, no ladder, no way of getting out of the hole. That is the problem I have with this team. They are making it harder offensively to run the football, to get guys wide open, to block. Dak Prescott was pressured half of the times he dropped back. That's how bad it was. And keep in mind, I'm not even saying that he played well. Absolutely not. He played terribly. But when you look at how they are doing things on film, I can't just sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, it's just the players. It's the coaches. It's the personnel that they've acquired. It's a full organization collapse. And I am absolutely shocked that there were people surprised by this. I mean, I was not shocked that this was the results we were getting. I'm more shocked at the frequency that we're seeing it, especially at home. This team has yet to win a home game, but they've won every game on the road, which is just whack as can be. But it's not like they're losing the home games close. Again, take out the goddamn Ravens loss. They are getting destroyed. And that's what's worrisome, because how can you win when now you got the bye week, then you got the 49ers on the road, and then you're expecting to get some momentum from that? Sure, you'll get DeRon Bland back. Maybe you get Micah Parsons back. But who gives a shit, dude? The fact is that this team is cooked. It's been cooked because we saw this coming from a mile away. The front office refused to add necessary personnel to a top-heavy roster where if these dudes don't perform and you have no other guys that you can turn to, or if they get hurt, then guess what? The whole thing falls apart. Now you're expecting young dudes to go out there and perform. Like Tyler Guyton's struggling, which is to be expected. Marshawn Nealon got hurt. And then you have Cooper Beebe, who's been a bright spot. And then all these other dudes that you have, like Maris Leofau. Again, I'm just talking about this rookie draft class. I don't really give a shit. These guys just look like they're not ready yet. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be super negative, but I'm just calling it how I see it, guys. This team is just broken. And in fact, I would even go as far as to say if it weren't for the Eagles' ineptitude with their coaching staff and the Giants being the Giants, the Cowboys would easily be the worst team in the NFC East. And I'm telling you right now, and I was waiting to make this video because I wanted to see how the Cowboys would approach this. They're not going to fire anybody. They're not going to make a trade. They're literally writing this out. And I don't think they care about winning a championship. I just think they care about keeping the same players here to keep the team good enough to stay relevant, but not bad enough to where you can replenish the roster with quality talent through the draft, which they don't use free agency, so you have to resort to the draft. And so, I just don't know, guys. I'm probably going to wait until after the bye week to see how this team does. But as of right now, this is just going to be the video that I do for the next 2 weeks. This is just going to be it, because I have nothing else to talk about. I'm not going to come out here and just talk about stuff that's unnecessary. There's nothing really to talk happy about this team. It's funny watching this train wreck happen in real life, if I'm being honest with you. And I know I'm not a fan of saying that. I don't want the team to suck. I don't want the team to fail. But when you have the roster as constructed, you get the results of what you built. Oh well. And the thing is I don't think they're going to fire, even if they lose the next 5 games, I don't think they're firing McCarthy. This is what I think is going to happen. And I'll try to leave you with this. I personally think the Cowboys are going to tease people to keep watching them. They're not going to bottom out. They are going to win some games at home. I firmly believe that. They're going to win some games on the road. And then they're going to get back to a record where they're on the verge of making the playoffs. And then they're just going to, that's when they'll bottom out. We'll think, they're going to get in, yes. And this is exactly what happened with Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. You can clearly see when the team quit on him, and the exact thing is happening to this team now. I want you guys to also pay attention to the body language, not of just the coaches, the players. Last year, it was all happy-go-lucky about the system, about this, about that, and talking about how good the system is for the players. Now, it's just, I need to do better. It's very personal in the sense of, they're not talking about the team. They're just talking about themselves, which I'm not here to degrade the players. It's just that I'm just watching the psychology of it all unfold. It's a huge component, and I'm telling you, if it continues, you can tell the team doesn't care. It's CeeDee Lamb. He's having his antics. Dak Prescott's trying to do everything in his power as he gets tunnel vision, as he plays the quarterback position when the team gets down, and he isn't good enough to get you out of the hole that you've dug yourself in. The team is so one-dimensional. Like, literally, the best way to stop the Dallas Cowboys offense, stop them from running the football, punch them in the mouth early, and let Dak Prescott try to save them, and just cover Lamb as best you can, and that's it. So I'm going to just leave you with that. We're going to see how things go over this next 2 weeks. Thank God the bye week's here, so I don't have to give a shit about what this team's doing. And I'm not super emotionally invested in this year because clearly the Cowboys had no real capacity to do anything. Honestly, they've done nothing. And then the other part of it, too, is that with Zeke asking for more carries, like going behind Mike or having like a private meeting, and then he gets more carries than Rico Dowdle after Rico Dowdle had a really good game. This team's so fucking broken, dude. I couldn't tell you what we can do to save it. And don't let anybody bullshit you into thinking that this team can be salvaged. It can't. I don't care what the record says. If we're talking about from a fundamental perspective, this team is broken. We can talk about getting a new coach, but if they're not going to bring the right coach, then it's a problem. And I wouldn't be shocked if they brought Kellen Moore back to be the head coach. I wouldn't be shocked if they gave Mike Zimmer the job. But that's the thing, is that it feels like they're letting the trauma of how 2023 ended into 2024 affect them this year. Think about it. They've only had really one good game this year. Not even talking about the wins. Just look at it. One good game, and that was in week 1 against the Cleveland Browns of all goddamn teams. They haven't performed well since then. Sure, they've won some games, but it hasn't been anything special. But I don't want to keep rambling on. I mean, tell me what you guys think down below. I'm done with Mike McCarthy. I've been telling people, Mike, put the fries in the bag, bro. You're done. I'm sorry. It's time. You gotta go. And I know it's easier said than done to just fire someone and bring someone in, but dude, this season looks lost. And I hate to say that, but it just looks that way. And so I think that at this point, for me, I think that what this team has to do is you could try to salvage things out of the bye week, but if you cannot and you start going on a losing streak, think about it. You won game 1, you lose 2 games, then you win 2 games. Seems very Jason Garrett-esque, doesn't it? So yeah, I'll leave you with that. With that, guys, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Let's see how this team does, and if there's anything breaking that happens, we'll talk about it. But I digress. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.